Now on CoastTV News.
1 year after a tornado tore through Sussex County, we look back on its impacts.
And along with the rain, we're going to be watching out for the solar eclipse that's going to be in our area. We're going to be tracking just how that's moving across the nation and near us.
Need to open the port of Baltimore, at least a channel through there. Our coverage of the Key Bridge collapse continues.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Good evening. I'm Mallory Metzner.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 5. We begin tonight with dreary weather all along the coast, but we're also into April now, and so there's an eclipse on the way.
There is. So first, let's take a live look outside into Lewis. You can see those cloudy skies. It's definitely been a dreary day. So let's check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams on our First Alert weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening. Well, first and foremost, we've only received about 3/4 of an inch of rain, so not quite a full inch thus far. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. Our big scientific news, obviously, is what's happening with the eclipse. It's going to affect the entire nation, and we will have a bona fide opportunity to take a good look at this ourselves. Now, the eclipse is going to arrive in the next 7 days, and we will continue to count you down. But most importantly, take this opportunity. You see our QR code? This is a special QR code specifically for the eclipse. So if you want some more information about the eclipse, we already have an article and an entire setup for you to really track it and see what's going on with the eclipse. Now, we're talking about a solar eclipse. So we're talking about when the sun's going to be blocked out. It's going to create that big shadow across the country. Now, this is the expected path of the eclipse coming throughout the Midwest, throughout the Great Lakes region, and then just north of the Northeast. And this is where we're located. So we're looking at about an 80 percentile opportunity to see that eclipse, that big gigantic shadow moving across the country that will begin to affect us. Now, as it begins to move, we're tracking, it's going to push across Texas initially, okay? Then it'll make its way through Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, and this is how it's going from Texas into Oklahoma and Arkansas. Now, that track is going to stay pretty steadfast for us as it begins to move throughout portions of the Midwest and, of course, the Great Lakes. Now, coming up, we'll talk more about what's happening with your forecast because we've got some scattered showers that are going to stick around and cause some problems Tuesday and Wednesday, Charlie.
Thank you. And as you just heard from Paul, we are just a week away from a solar eclipse, and a lot of people are looking for the safest way to view this rare event. Linda Baccaro talked to an expert and shows us how to protect your eyes during this stellar solar event.
On April 8th, a once-in-a-lifetime event, a total solar eclipse, the moon passing between the Earth and Sun, turning day into night. And this time, the path of totality will cross New York State just after 3 p.m. But you can seriously damage your eyes by looking directly at the sun during a solar eclipse. Regular sunglasses and 3D glasses won't cut it. We asked astronomer and CUNY professor Emily Rice for tips.
Anything that you can pick it up and see through it, it's not going to protect your eyes from the sun.
She showed us the difference. See how the light shines past these sunglass lenses? And then look at how these certified eclipse glasses block the light.
If you look directly at it inside, you might be able to see it through.
Oh, yeah.
But totally dark.
With so much eclipse eyewear available these days,
what should they look for in a safer eclipse glass?
Yeah, the certification is ISO 12312-2.
She says even if there's a NASA, NOAA, or American Astronomical Society logo, make sure to look for the ISO certification too. She says the website aas.org has a list of vendors.
So they vetted these vendors. You can look for the manufacturer on the back of your glasses usually, and you can check against the list that's on the AAS website in order to make sure that even if you buy them off Amazon, they're from a good brand.
Rice says you can take a cereal box and make a pinhole viewer for free.
I put a piece of white paper at the bottom on the inside to make a little bit of a screen, and then cut 2 holes on either side. One hole you cover up with aluminum foil and then poke a little pinhole in it. The other side you leave open.
With your back facing the sun, aim the pinhole at the sky.
And so the sunlight will go through the pinhole and create an image of the sun on the bottom of the box.
And make a plan now for where you'll watch this eclipse of a lifetime.
As you just saw, the key part of viewing the eclipse, having that proper eyewear. If you still need glasses to protect your eyes, the Milton Public Library, they have you covered there. They can pick up the glasses at the library while supplies last.
A year ago today, the second strongest tornado in Delaware history tore a path of destruction through Sussex County. Homes were damaged and even completely destroyed, and chicken houses were shredded in the tornado's path. One woman who lost her home is thankful she wasn't home that day.
Luckily, I wasn't home. I don't know how it would have turned out. You know, they tell you to get in the bathtub or something, like because I didn't have a basement, and you know, there really was nowhere to go. And the bathtubs were both were in the backyard with parts of the house laying on top of them.
We will have more on Stacey Warrington's recovery from last year's tornado tonight on Coast TV News at 6.
New today, the Worcester County Fire Marshal's office has determined that a house fire in Ocean Pines was actually caused by arson. The fire happened on the night of March 29th on the 700 block of Ocean Parkway. Responders arrived to find smoke coming from a single-story home. Crews found a small fire in the bedroom, and it was reported by crews that a man was still inside the home when they got there. He did get out of the house on his own without being hurt. Fire officials say that the investigation confirmed that the fire in the bedroom was set on purpose. Criminal charges are now being pursued.
Happening tonight in Milton, the next step in a number of upgrades for the town's water system. Milton Town Council will review the resolution allowing the town to borrow up to $579,000 for a general obligation bond. This will pay for improvements to the Chandler Street water treatment facility, over $3.8 million for the Federal Street Water Tower project, and $1.7 million for water main replacement. The town was granted the authority to borrow the money when voters approved a referendum earlier this year. Tonight, the city of Lewis will be inviting the public to comment on two different ordinances. According to the city, the first changes how high a building must be off the ground or above the flood level. This would apply to new buildings and buildings that are being repaired or have been heavily damaged. The second ordinance reduces maximum lot coverage by 5%. In a nutshell, lot coverage is how much of the property is covered by buildings. The public hearing is happening tonight at 5:30 p.m.
And this brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how do you think coastal towns should address growth? Let's take a look at the results.
So far on your screen here, it looks like the majority, 68%, say cap new neighborhoods being built. In second place, there's a big margin between them. 18% says widen the roads.
Now, if you haven't voted yet, and you can see there's a third, fourth, and fifth place there, you can go vote on CoastTV.com or use our Coast TV mobile app. Our coverage of the Key Bridge collapse continues. Crews in Baltimore are working to open a temporary alternate channel around the wreckage of the Key Bridge. This is an essential step to get the Port of Baltimore running again and to get the economy back on track.
Demolition crews back at the site of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge Monday, removing debris as part of the complicated and extensive cleanup process that could help open up a temporary channel.
This will be for vessels that don't draw as much water, so about 11 feet, as work goes on at the same time to clear the main channel. That's 50 feet, and that's the channel we have to clear to get more container ships back into the port of Baltimore.
The Port of Baltimore, one of the busiest in the U.S., opening an alternate channel that will allow commercially essential vessels to reach the port, a major step forward in recovery for the community.
It is a critical economic hub. We've got to get this up and running.
Larry DeSantis believes he was one of the last people to drive over the bridge before a massive container ship ran into it. Heading to work that morning, crossing the bridge likely just seconds before it came down.
It took a while for it to really sink in, because the initial shock of it, but then more and more people are calling me to see if I'm alive, because they knew I traveled that time of the morning over the bridge.
DeSantis emotional when thinking of the 6 construction workers killed in the incident.
I feel sorry for those workers, I really do. I mean, they're doing their job, they lost their lives. So it's hard to, I rode right by them, I saw all of them. Just a minute before they probably died.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
The bodies of 4 victims Recovered authorities believe they are trapped in the tangle of steel and concrete underwater that crews are working to remove right now.
A month-long paving project is heading to the Indian River Inlet. Starting today, crews will be paving Route 1 near the bridge. That will cause some lane restrictions. DelDOT says there will be a detour in place to access Turning Point Road and the Seashore Park campground. Crab season, it's opening in Maryland. The restrictions for crab pots to be aware of and the species this rule aims to protect.
And the wet weather will stick around so long that it might feel like a washout until we get to Wednesday. More on what I'm tracking in just a moment.
Another FAFSA error leaving students who need federal aid in limbo? We're going to tell you what's going on with that next.
Trying to quit tobacco is frustrating. You feel lost. You've tried several times, yet everywhere you turn, there are triggers pulling you back in. But there is a way out. The Delaware Quit Line. We can help get you on a path to living tobacco-free with free counseling, cessation aids, and medications. Let us help you quit for good.
What? You're still waiting for a roofing and siding quote? You should have called Bill.
All Exteriors will give you a quote on the spot. We have same-day and Saturday appointments available to do a thorough inspection and show you design options. Then we explain everything our quote includes, line by line.
April showers bring free gutters with new roofing or siding and payments as low as $99 a month. Call All Exteriors for a free inspection. Where are you going?
Customer needs a quote.
You couldn't wait 1 second to finish the commercial?
Are you ready to find out some secrets?
Season 25 and we're smoking.
3, 2, 1. She just learned that today.
The Voice, new tonight on NBC and Peacock.
I want Rob out of here.
I'm fighting for my life.
You're mentally drained, physically exhausted. Oh, one more thing. What's inside that case is a game changer.
Deal or No Deal Island, tonight on NBC and Peacock.
Charmed by Lewis.
Visit our unique shops and restaurants.
Lewis Gourmet and Puzzles, 30 years supporting the community. Eat extraordinary with local and global specialty foods and inspire your brain with jigsaws and more.
The color of spring is upon us. Stop by Floral Inspirations for arrangements, bouquets, gardens, and gifts. Or just come in for the smell of it.
Nectar Cafe. Breakfast and lunch, fresh squeezed juices, espresso, cocktails, amazing omelets, healthy salads, hearty sandwiches, Lewis and Millsboro.
Come explore.
Historic Lewis.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
There is yet another problem with federal financial aid forms, and that could increase the delay for students that need federal aid for college from getting that money. According to the Department of Education, some colleges received the wrong information about some families' finances. Administrators are passing the buck here, blaming that on what they call inaccurate tax data from the Internal Revenue Service. The problem reportedly impacts about 1 million applicants. This is just the latest problem with this year's free application for federal student aid form. It has been marked with delays and glitches after an updated version of the financial aid form was released.
Airbnb is making some big changes to its cancellation policy to better cover unforeseen events. The online property rental company says it will provide cancellation and refund support for guests when unexpected major events occur. Those can include natural disasters, government travel restrictions, or weather events that could impact a renter's ability to stay at a location. The new policy overrides a host's own cancellation policy, but it doesn't cover all incidents, including injuries or illness or government obligations like jury duty. The updated policy will go into effect for all reservations on June 6th.
Well, we have a few developing low-pressure systems that are going to continue to make the week so iffy that we could see some thunderstorms possibly on Tuesday. I'll show you exactly what I'm tracking, how long it's going to stick around in a moment.
From empty nester to first home, Accessible Home Builders does it all.
It was great working with Scott at Accessible Builders. He called us every Monday and asked us to come over to the house at each step of the way during the construction of our home.
It was pretty unique working with Scott because not only is he the owner, but he was working in here hands-on with his employees. And really just trying to make our vision come to life.
Design your dream home with Accessible Home Builders.
For every season, every weather moment, stay ahead with the CoastTV First Alert Weather Phone. Just call 443-880-9100. Your forecast just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Baird, Mandalas, Brockstead, and Federico.
Our soldiers are heroes who protect our country. But when they come home, it's up to us to help our heroes. Now, during FH Fur's Spring Into Giving campaign, for every $29 cooling system tune-up we perform, we'll donate that amount directly to Wounded Warrior Project. FH Fur Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. Call 877-CALL-FUR or visit FHFur.com to schedule your $29 cooling system tune-up. And use hashtag SpringIntoGiving to share how you're giving back.
Open 6 days a week with convenient hours. Call and schedule your appointment today.
This week on Wheel, contestants are wedging their way into our great American cities.
Oh boy! Monday at 7 on Coast TV.
Over 14,000 people per day are affected by water damage in their home or business. Even a small leak from a water heater, washer, refrigerator line, or even HVAC drain can cause lasting damage. Response time is critical. Paul Davis has a team of certified experts on call 24/7 to stop the water, mitigate damage, and work directly with your insurance to quickly restore your home or business. If you see peeling paint, stains, mold, or smell a musty odor, call Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling.
Weather brought to you by Paul Davis Restoration, your storm damage experts, here to help now.
With the eclipse and such a rare eclipse on the way, we have a new QR code that you need to scan. This isn't our app code. This is a totally different code. You want to go ahead and get this. This is going to be way neat, okay? For the nerd and for those of you who aren't quite as nerdy as I am, listen, this is going to allow you to get the latest information on the eclipse, and we're tracking it online, so you can go straight to our site for that information. I'm going to talk more about the eclipse in just a moment, but be sure you scan that so you can get that specialty, because that's not something that's around for everybody or everywhere. Our Tyndall camera right now in Laurel, we're looking at overcast conditions with temperatures in the 50s. Now, we're going to drop to 49 by 8 and 9 o'clock, but it looks like we're shaking off the rain for the rest of the night. That's not such a bad thing. You see, when it comes to our risk categories, we're looking at marginal risk throughout portions of Virginia, but not necessarily for us. So that makes you go, are we going to be that lucky all week long? No. You're going to need the umbrella for the rest of the week. Now, we do have our small craft advisory that's in effect for our area, and so it's going to stay a little bit on the breezy side, and then up in the New York area, they're bracing for a big-time snowstorm possibly there. We are quite fortunate to be on the warm side of things to the south and out of the way. Now, the rain we've had so far, not been overly impressive, but it has arrived. We had nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain for us in Ellendale, and just shy of a ½ inch in Slaughter Beach, for example, and over 1/4 in Greenwood and all of the cities that we have named right here. As far as our wider scope, we've had just shy of a 1/10 of an inch of rain in Georgetown and Salisbury, and just over that, actually, in Ocean City. A couple of other areas that we've been tracking throughout the day, just shy of 1/4 of an inch in Harbison, and we've had over a 1/10 in Rehoboth as well as Dagsboro, and much lighter for us in Seaford, Laurel, Stockley, Delmar, as well as Indian River Inlet and Bethany Beach. But we've had some rain. Now, the winds have been at least 20 to 22 mile per hour wind gusts, so we've been tracking that as well. Here's where the temperatures are right now. 50 in Milton, 52 Redden, 51 in Georgetown. And how different is that? How about a 13-degree different, for example, in Easton and in Georgetown? So we're feeling a whole lot cooler than we were just 24 hours ago. For Tuesday morning, we start off with rain early in the morning at 6 o'clock for everybody. Georgetown, Millsboro, and between along Highway 113 may actually have a heavier shower early. We get a brief break in some areas, not so in others. But then as we go into Tuesday evening, we're going to look at the winds coming out of the east and kind of pouring some additional moisture on top of things, really setting us up for a volatile day on Wednesday. Wednesday's the pick day where things get really ugly on purpose, okay? Wednesday early in the morning, just after midnight, it kicks in. Wednesday early in the morning on the way to work, not a problem. But look at this line that's going to start to gather itself during 3 o'clock. And because it's going to be at 3 o'clock, and look how fast it moves through, It's intense. It's during the heat of the day, and it's moving fast. I'm going to keep a close eye on that one so it doesn't catch us by surprise with a severe thunderstorm. Yeah, that's actually a possibility. We're looking at projections about a ½ inch of rain is what we're expecting. Now, over the next 5 days, keep in mind, we're going to stay a little bit volatile for Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll see some scattered iffy showers for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah, you're going to need full rain gear for that. Let's talk about the eclipse. Remember, right here in the corner, we have the new QR code so you can track the solar eclipse. We have everything you need right here. Now, this is going to be the total path of the eclipse, and this is where we are. Now, as I track this through, you'll see it's going to head its way through Texas, Waco. So that's where it's going to start off. Now, this is a rare type of eclipse that we're going to be able to witness throughout Arkansas, Oklahoma. You can see how it's tracking in that northeast direction throughout Missouri, Arkansas, and it continues throughout Illinois, and then it goes up throughout Indianapolis, central portions of Indiana, and it begins to push across a good portion of the Great Lakes region, and then it carries itself right on out of the way. And so we're tracking that. We want you to be mindful of that, so be sure you scan our QR code. All right, our forecast. Tonight, 45. Tomorrow, gray skyline, on and off again showers. Then Wednesday, we're watching out for thunderstorms in 64. Finally, here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling extended forecast. A couple of yellow alert days, but then after Wednesday, we may finally be able to catch our breath.
Paul, happening now, blue crab season is in full swing in Maryland. It includes the Atlantic Ocean off the Worcester County coast, as well as the coastal bays, the Chesapeake Bay, and its tidal tributaries. To protect diamondback terrapins, crabbers must use pots with turtle reduction devices. Those are the tools that prevent the turtles from getting caught in the traps with the crabs. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Scott Cower from Solo Concepts. Today we're at Matt's Fish Camp in Lewis, Delaware. Come check us out. Matt's is a little seafood shack on Coastal Highway serving lunch and dinner daily, featuring seafood classics, coastal comfort food, and chef-inspired nightly specials, along with a large selection of craft ales, cocktails, and our extensive wine list. Matt's is a perfect place to enjoy dinner with your family, happy hour with friends, or lunch in the lobster room. Matt's Fish Camp in Lewis, Delaware, open 7 days a week, lunch and dinner. See you soon.
Download the free CoastTV First Alert weather app today.
The beauty is hard to miss at Ocean City's premier golf course, Eagles Landing. Voted the #1 golf course in Maryland by our players. Eagles Landing offers 5 sets of tees, making the course playable for beginners and challenging for most skilled golfers. Local residents receive discounted rates and earn points that can be used for free golf with our local rewards program. Find our best rates at eagleslandinggolf.com today. Eagles Landing, upholding the tradition of the game.
My daughter was beginning to struggle with substance use disorder. Felt like somebody cut my heart out. Her dream was to open a house to help other women recover. When we do our groundbreaking, I hear like at 6:30 in the morning. Nobody's here except one guy in a suit walking through the field. He says, Kevin, David Trone, nice to meet you. For every person who is suffering from substance use disorder, there is no bigger champion.
I'm David Trone, and I approve this message.
Next Jeopardy, it's April Fool's Day. But with one spot left in the semifinals, this game is no joke.
Bring it.
Monday at 7:30 on Coast TV.
Am I the last old school daddy?
Funny man Bill Bellamy is dead serious.
Whatever you do to my daughter, I'm gonna do to you.
Tuesday at 2 on Coast TV.
You may think your home's crawl space is okay, but chances are it's not. Mold, pests, and rotting beams can all cause problems for your home and for your family. The good news is your home's crawl space problems can be fixed permanently, so you and your family can rest easy. Because crawl space problems won't get better with time, but they will get better with us.
Call Dry Zone today for your free estimate.
Brought to you by Dry Zone, your local crawl space experts.
Health officials are sounding an alarm as cases of Mpox are rising in the U.S.
Vaccinations to protect against the virus are lagging, and another subtype of Mpox is now a potential threat.
Mandy Gaither has a look at the latest data and explains what those at high risk can actually do to protect themselves.
In the U.S., Mpox vaccinations are low, but the number of cases is climbing. The CDC says there have been 511 reported this year through March 16th. That's about 70% higher than they were at this time last year.
We're not even halfway through the year, so the concern is that those numbers may increase.
Dr. Jared Fox with Orlando Health says anyone can get the disease, which is a less severe cousin of the eradicated smallpox virus, but men who have sex with men are at greater risk. It spreads through close contact. The numbers are still far below the tens of thousands of cases in 2022, but after a quieter year last year, experts say the U.S. is vulnerable for two reasons. The amount of federal resources available to manage the public health response has been cut, and the CDC says in most states, less than a quarter of the population at risk has been fully vaccinated with the 2-dose series since it was authorized for emergency use in August 2022.
It's highly effective at preventing disease and especially preventing complications associated with Mpox.
In December, the CDC also warned about another subtype of this virus that's been found in Africa that spreads more easily and causes more severe disease than the one from the 2022 outbreak.
We want to get the word out that if you're in the high-risk populations that have been most affected by the Mpox, that you get vaccinated.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Don't miss the Spring Home Expo at Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis, April 6th and 7th. Admission is free, featuring 90 exhibitors from the Delaware Resorts region presenting their home products and services. Saturday from 9 to 4 and Sunday from 10 to 3. Come see a wide array of home products and service companies, home improvement, realtors, and builders, all under one roof. Many of the exhibitors will be giving away free gifts and prizes, and ample parking is free. Don't miss the free Spring Home Expo, April 6th and 7th at Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis.
Stanley Steamer is proud to be the leader in deep cleaning, cleaning over 1 million homes and businesses across America every year, using powerful equipment custom built by us. We'll remove the buildup of dirt, dust, allergens, grime, and contaminants seen and unseen from your home and business. America's professional deep cleaner for over 75 years. It's not clean until it's Stanley Steamer Clean.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
When you visit the Delmarva Design Center, you'll experience a selection of appliances, cabinetry, countertops, tile, and flooring all together in one showroom. The 10,000 square foot location has a variety of inspiring samples for any project size or budget. Your dedicated product experts and designers collaborate to bring your dream project to life. Come and see what the kitchen industry buzz is all about. Experience the Delmarva Design Center in Selbyville, Delaware, serving all of Delmarva's coast.
Discover a prehistoric world of astonishing lifelike dinosaurs at Dinosaur World Live, Monday, April 15th. Dare to experience the dangers and delights of dinosaurs in this interactive news show for the whole family. Meet a host of impressive creatures, including every child's favorite, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Secure your seats now for this entertaining Jurassic adventure live on stage. Dinosaur World Live, coming to the Performing Arts Center, April 15th at 6 p.m.
It was the best day of my life.
For tickets, visit oceocean.com/pack.
When you smoke inside, you're not the only one who inhales. Secondhand smoke causes cancer and heart disease in adults, and respiratory problems in children, and SIDS in infants. If you smoke or vape, take it outside.
Remember, the forecast is just a call away. Call 443-880-9100. Sponsored by the law offices of Baird, Mendelis, Brockstedt, and Federico. All right, so where are we right now? Listen, we've had a lot of rain and drizzle throughout the day, but it hasn't accumulated a whole lot. But according to our Gutter Helmet view, we can see the drops are still on the lens right here. We're at 49 degrees. The wind's out of the north. East at about 6 miles per hour. We're going to stay at about 48 degrees for the rest of the evening with partly cloudy skies. And as far as what we have going on right now, overall, we look at a small craft advisory that's going to stay in effect until Wednesday. So we're looking for about 25 mile per hour wind gusts and a lot of rain. Now, here's a look at our expectation for the next 10 days. We're looking at a yellow alert day for Tuesday and Wednesday, but Wednesday almost became a first alert day because we're looking for thunderstorms Wednesday between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon that could possibly get a little ugly. Oh, and they're right there. That's us watching out for the eclipse.
Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great night.